so has your sense of smell come back? Oh, no. And what about your taste? And I go, well, I can taste a bit without ever really knowing what that bit was.
Right.
Yeah. And then in 2012, in the early 2012, I was starting to meet, I was doing lots of reading about smell, taste, and I was starting to understand, okay, so taste is what comes from the taste buds in the mouth. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter, umami being the 5 basic tastes. I met a guy who's a good friend of mine now, Dave, who's a food scientist and a bit of a coffee fiend. And he got me to taste he's a friend of his is a barista, has his own cafe and makes really good coffee. And they prepared me 2 very different espressos. And Dave said, okay, Duncan, we want you to taste these and see if you can taste the difference between them. I'm like, yeah, okay, Dave, good luck. I'll give it a go. And I tried them. And the first one, I remember saying, wow, this is really quite unusual. It's not like any coffee I've ever had before. It's almost sour. It's like someone squeezed a lemon into it. It's quite acidic. And I tried the next one and then sort of went, okay, well, this is really different. This is much more richer. It's more bitter. It's more like what a coffee should taste like. And I went, how's that? And Dave basically said, essentially, Duncan, what you've just said is kind of what any coffee taster would say in a nutshell. So much of coffee, we think of the aroma, but when it enters the mouth, a lot of it is around the basic taste elements. That was a starting point for me in realizing, oh, actually, okay, I've still got something here that I can use. For me, it was about going, all right, well, I can detect sweetness, and I know what sweetness tastes like. And now I know what bitterness tastes like. And I'm starting to attach labels to these things, okay? And once you're able to put a label to something and you recognize it, you can start looking out for that label when you're drinking other things. I was talking to Dick Doty, who's in the audience, about this earlier on, and I said, beer's a really good example, ale, because you've got sweetness, inherent sweetness, sourness, and bitterness in all beers. So when I taste things, I'm looking out for the basic taste profile. I'm going, okay, well, that's a bit too bitter. I don't like that. American-style pale ales are my favourite. We were drinking a good one last night, weren't we, Joel? Because I'm quite sensitive to bitterness. I don't like beers that are too bitter. And American-style pale ales, you've often got sort of a real kind of sort of caramel kind of sweetness in there, which counteracts the bitterness. So anyway, back to the story before I get too carried away on foodie stuff. What we're hoping to do by working with our partners Flavour Active, who are they? Well, it's quite an interesting company. They train tasting panels in the beverage industry. The people at Carlsberg, Coca-Cola, who taste the product day in, day out to make sure it's consistent, Flavour Active train those people to be good tasters. So we're working with Flavour Active and hoping that their sort of expertise and skills within the industry can be translated into helping people like myself who've suffered impairments of the sense of smell. Yeah. There are 2 things. It may not help treat the problem, all right? But it's more about better understanding and using what you're left with. And my attitude is that if you can move away, as I did, from dwelling on what I can't appreciate anymore, and instead focus on what I can appreciate, then that's a more positive thing. Yeah. My attitude is that if you can sort of say to someone who says, well, I've lost my sense of smell, can't taste, and you can go, well, all right, here's 2 glasses of wine.